Hey guys, welcome back to the Spruce and Linen channel. I'm Janelle and today is another Weave With Me experimenting video. So I kind of got this idea in my mind and then I started looking at photos and then the idea just kind of started happening, and so I was like, I better get to filming because otherwise it's going to seem like I pre-planned this whole thing, which I guess I kind of did. But I want to tell you about an app that I've talked about before, and it's called Unsplash. And basically what it is this entire app website dedicated to uncopyrighted photos. So these are photos that you're allowed to use in your work and all the things. And it's a great place to find inspiration because you know it's not just like a super copyrighted image that you found on Google one day. So in our video about how to find inspiration, I talked a bit about finding inspiration from like architecture. And then I realized, I don't know that I've actually made a weaving inspired by that directly. And so I was like, maybe we should do that. So I got on here. I really like Art Deco architecture. And to preface this, I am not at all an architecture guru. I'm not an architecture snob. I don't know that much about it. However, when I went inside the Unsplash app and I searched Art Deco architecture, here are some of the images that popped up. There's a lot of really cool things, but one of the ones, and actually there's two here, I think it's of two very similar chandeliers. So the first one is this one. And I really love what's going on, the detail in the ceiling as well as the design on the actual light. And I just noticed that further down, there's a very similar light. It's definitely not exactly the same, but it's super similar inside of the whole bottom half of it, I think is like the same. So anyway, I thought, let's be inspired. Let's look at some architecture pictures. And I was like, there's all these diamonds. This design is really beautiful. Let's talk about this. So then some ideas popped into my head. And this is what's great about just, let's talk about this for a minute. Sometimes it feels like the easiest thing to just look at other weavings in order to find inspiration for your other weaving. And don't get me wrong, I do this all the time against my own advice. However, I try to also mix that in with looking at a lot of other stuff. So like different mediums, like even looking at other textiles, like, you know, quilting and embroidery, and then even looking at illustration art and home decor. And I think what I'm trying to say is it's really important, I think, to get a lot of different sources of inspiration. And then your brain can just start making these different connections between those things, which I think is where creative ideas really come from. You know, it's like it's this gathering. It's kind of how, like, I don't know if you have a lot of dreams, but I have a lot of dreams. And my dreams are always such a like weird, random combination of a whole bunch of different things that I either experienced or thought about or watched on TV. And they kind of just come together and make this weird dream movie in my brain. So I feel like that's kind of what I'm starting to think about as creativity. You know, all the different sources of inspiration that you're bringing into your mind, your brain can start making these connection points and start molding and melding, not molding. Your brain can sort of start mixing all those inspirations together to come out with something, you know, sort of different and unique. I digress. So let's talk about what kind of popped into my mind. So I was looking at this photo and you can see that this light has, and I'm just going to dim this a little bit. Maybe that'll make it more clear on video. Yeah, for sure it does. So let's look at these. Like there's this diamond design and then we have these vertical lines and then it goes back up to this diamond design. And I was like, okay, what could we use like the diamond twill pattern to create something based on this? So I pulled this out and you can get this pattern for free by signing up for my email list. at spruceandlinen.com. It's on the home page. There's a pop-up. If you don't see the pop-up, scroll to the bottom and there'll be a sign up block. And you can sign up there for our email list and this will be sent to you for free. So kind of what I was thinking was, how can we create a weaving with this as an inspiration? So here are my thoughts. So I'm gonna have like, this is gonna be sort of the border of my weaving, and then I'm gonna have some diamond twill. And my drawing is not gonna be super precise because I don't really care if it's precise right now. So let's just say we have this diamond design, and then we sort of do like a half diamond here. Okay, and then somehow we can put these vertical lines in, like so, and then we'll be going back up to the diamond twill. And again, this is a horrendous drawing and I don't have a lot of patience for drawing. Okay, so then we have these more half diamonds. So that's what I was kind of thinking. I was looking at this light and thinking like, yeah, that definitely, I can draw some inspiration from that. Maybe there's more detail I want to add. I don't know what these vertical lines are going to be yet. And also when I was looking at the pattern, I think what I'm gonna do is just eliminate the center blocks in the diamonds, because I actually don't want, I don't want those center blocks. I wanna try to mimic more of this really clean diamond. And then again, I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna use to do these vertical lines and then go back up to the diamond twill. So I guess the first things first is I need to put a warp on the loom and pick some materials. I should probably pick materials first. So I was thinking about using, I think I'm gonna use our 8/8 warp string. This is twice as thick as the 4/8 warp string. And the reason I was thinking of this is because with a twill, I'm gonna be weaving it a little bit looser, and so I think I want this as my warp. And I'm eyeing up some materials over here. So let me go grab some stuff and let's see what we can come up with. So I know last week's video was also about this felted yarn, but I think it would work really well for this piece. I have a few different colors, and I'm thinking I want basically the whole backdrop of the weaving to be an off-white. So we're gonna do an off-white warp, we're gonna do off-white yarn, and then I need a contrasting color for the diamonds. So I could do this like beigey color for the actual diamond twill, but I kind of need to know what I'm doing out in the center. I kind of envision potentially just doing a plain weave, and then yeah, what do I want to do here? Because basically looking at this picture, I like how like I don't have metallic gold yarn, but I like how we have the design with the one color and then the whole backdrop is literally just off-white. So I think, yeah, this is gonna be my backdrop. Whether or not I use this versus just like an off-white other yarn, I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'm kind of thinking like gray and beige is always nice, but maybe I want to do something with this more like brownish color. So if I do this, you know, is there a way that I can then use something like couching to do my vertical lines? Couching might be the best bet. I feel like that could work. So I think I'm literally just gonna have to try this. So let's go with it. This is all an experimentation. I don't know if I want to, like, the thing about like trying a new idea is, personally, I like which is funny. I hated this in college. I hated making samples. So when I was in college for fiber arts, in our weaving class, we would always have to weave samples before, you know, making a definitive decision about the materials, the colors, the pattern, all the things. I hated it. But now I find myself doing that a lot because it saves you a lot of time in the long run, because if I go and make a whole woven wall hanging and then I don't like it and have to take it apart and all those things, it's just kind of annoying. But so I'm thinking this is going to be more of a sample, maybe. You know, the other question is, like, do I just want to, and this might be the answer, I think I might do a double warp and basically have it so like the warp strings would become the fringe. Because I'm not sure about putting like a whole fringe on a piece like this. Maybe it's more of something to be framed later. This is reminding me a little bit of the project I did for one of our Patreon tutorial club member videos. I'll put a picture here of that weaving. It's kind of giving me the same vibe as that, but I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on a double warp, get everything started, and then we'll get started weaving. All right, so I've got like a bit of a base for my weaving going on here, and now I'm gonna grab this color and just start weaving some diamond twill. I kind of need to decide where it is I'm starting with the pattern. I think I want to start probably here. Yeah. Is that where I want to start? And then do a whole other half on the other end. Okay, so that's where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna be doing a few rows of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 rows. This isn't gonna be a very big weaving. I may have miscalculated how much space I should leave myself. Yeah, I think that's gonna be too much. So I'm gonna rethink this. I think I'm gonna just make sure that I get one, yeah, I'm gonna get one full diamond here at the bottom. So then it's only 9 rows. So I'm gonna give that a try. And again, if you wanna grab this pattern, sign up for our email list. We also have a full tutorial here on YouTube. So it's all free, and you can learn how to read and use these patterns. I already messed up because I wanted to not do the centers of the diamonds. So I have to go back. Unweaving's part of weaving, you know? All right. So I have my diamonds in, and now I'm thinking I'm probably gonna do like this section of plain weave and then do more of the diamonds. I'm always thinking in my mind, like how would I want to hang this when it's done? I'm kind of thinking I'm going to allow those diamonds to go pretty high up. It's going to be a little tricky to weave, but I do want there to be this long section in the center of the plain weave, and then we're going to have to figure out how can we put those like stripes in. So I'm gonna do that after. So I think I'm gonna do some plain weave, get those diamonds up there. I'm gonna consider hanging this just directly from the loops at the top, like without folding them over at all, just directly from those loops. So that would allow me to weave quite high. It's gonna be, because of the way that this loom is made, it's gonna be a little tricky to weave up there, but I think I can handle it. So I'm gonna keep going. Well, one thing I kind of forgot to calculate for is that this yarn is super thick, and so when you are using a super thick yarn and you are doing something like plain weave, things get tight. So my warp is like getting pretty snug on the loom right now. More than I would like it to be, so that might dictate where I stop the plane weave. Like it's, well, and by might I mean it's definitely going to. I think I'm gonna have to like start those second diamonds pretty soon. But let's look at where we're at here. So I'm thinking again of having this go somewhere in here and have those lines like that. And I think that'll definitely work. I'm still like unsure about how I want to attach it to make these lines, because I don't really want like other colors on top of it. So like a couching stitch, you would do, you're basically stitching on top of this yarn. I don't know if that's what I want. So, I mean, honestly, I could like, I'm gonna keep going with the plain weave, but there's a few things I can do. I could glue it. If I want it to be really seamless, that's probably the only way I'm gonna get that. So I might consider using like a hot glue and doing that. I don't love it. We'll see, we'll see. I think I'm gonna start the diamond twill again here, because like I said, things are getting real tight. I feel like it's getting a little sucked in. Not too bad. But let's leave ourselves a tail. And I'm gonna go ahead and weave one more row of those diamonds. So I've got everything woven in. I'm gonna go ahead and tuck in all the ends and then figure out how we're gonna do this little situation, because I think this is gonna be really cute. So I kind of want it to be 3 lines, right? So one there, and one here. So I literally just need to figure out how to attach this yarn in a way that's gonna look really good. I'm still toying with the idea of glue, honestly, but I've never, I don't know that I've ever used hot glue on my weaving. Probably not. Not necessarily something that I like love, but to get a really clean look, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. So let's see what we can come up with. I'm trying to decide, I'm just gonna take this out. That's gonna help loosen things a little bit. So I did get a little bit of pulling in here that I'm not loving. And I'm trying to decide now, do I maybe take this off? Because my one concern is that if whatever we do, if we add these on while there's tension, what could happen is once it's off, they're gonna look a little rippled because this is under a lot of tension. So I think the best thing for me to do would be to take this off the loom, finish up the bottom. I'm actually debating, I've never done this before, but I'm kind of thinking, like, I wonder with all this being so tightly woven at the bottom, if I could get away with not knotting these. I guess I'll find out. Because normally I would knot all the ends together, but it might not be overly necessary on this particular piece. So let's find out. And just an FYI, if you do have this loom, this is our Spruce and Linen flat pack frame loom. You can actually take the screws out and then take this off and get things off a little easier that way, but I don't feel like it. So I'm not, but that'd probably be a better way of doing it. So we've got our little weaving here. And I do think it's probably not a big deal for me to just leave these as tails without knotting them. I think it'll be okay. I think that twining stitch and that plain weave is gonna hold everything. So what I'm gonna do, we'll see if it's possible. What I like to do is I definitely wanna cut all these loops open, but I'm wondering if I can undo the knots that I have. And also, like, is it gonna look good? Or should I do them in little groups and have a little knot there? I don't know. I mean, I feel like that looks okay. It's not as like full as I would normally have my fringe, but I don't think it looks bad or anything. Now the question is, can I get these tiny little knots apart? This knot is causing me trouble. Okay, there we go. Oh. So I think I'm gonna have to try to like iron this one out a little bit because it's real curly from being knotted. All right. So I think I like where this is going. Now we can talk about trying to figure out where these little stripes should go. I'm definitely thinking I can tuck in the ends through into the back. So I'm gonna just use this piece that I have and let's see what we can do with that. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm gonna come up here and go underneath here. I'll leave myself a tail in the back to tuck in later. And then I want these stripes to come down like this. Okay, so now here's kind of the decider of like how I'm gonna do this. Oh, that twining stitch on the top is very tight. I'm trying to stretch it back out. Okay, that's a little better. I honestly thinking that like hot glue might be my best bet, but, or maybe like super glue. The thing I don't like about hot glue is like it can get away from you pretty easily, and then once it's on a wool yarn, like it's gonna be on there for good. So could I get away with like a super glue? That's my question. And then the other thing is I'm gonna have to pick a line to go on top of, which I think is gonna be, see, this is my trouble here. I think I need to follow the warp strings because there's warp strings in the center of the bottom of the diamond. So I think if I just glue it along there, that'll work. Okay, I'm gonna go find some sort of glue and we're gonna give this a try. I definitely think it's gonna work, and maybe I'm gonna grab a dowel as well to hang this on at the end. And the question is, do I want like a skinny dowel like that? Okay, so I grabbed a dowel and some glue, and I guess I first need to check if I can even get this glue out, to be honest, because it's not new. I should really have some better stuff. Oh yeah, okay. Well, before that falls off, I'm just gonna start dabbing, hopefully neatly, some glue on here. Oh, it should be good. I'm gonna leave a bit of a tail again so I can tuck this in after. And I'm just gonna press that down and see where we're at. All right, it's not sticking at all. That's not working at all because it is soaking up into the yarn. So that's not gonna work. So hot glue might be my only option. So let's talk about potentially doing some couching, and maybe that'll look okay because this won't work. And then I think, like I said, hot glue is probably the only other option. So if I put that there and I have some points, and like maybe this will just add, maybe it can add to the design. So I'd want to make sure that we're going up evenly over that. Maybe we'll do a couching stitch. Let's try it. At least the couching stitch isn't permanent. So if it doesn't look great, I can take it out. So I think the biggest thing with doing couching like this, I'm just gonna tie myself I'll do a half knot just in case I want to take it out. But I think the idea of couching, we just need to make sure that we're doing it really evenly. Let's see, where do I want to go next? So I'm not going to get a very even spread. And I'd go up here next. I don't think that's the worst thing. That might not mean it's very good, but I think it's going to work. I just think that anything else I do is not going to hold that on there nicely. Like the way that this is so nice and secure on here now, I really like that. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. Before I go tucking this in and all of that, I'm going to tuck in these ends. And let's just see what like a completed one actually looks like, because I definitely think, yeah, we need to just see it done to see if this looks good. I think that that's gonna work. I think that's what we're going with. I like how secure it feels on. I like that, you know, I used, like I could have gone in with like a thread or something and tried to match this up, but I don't know that I have one. So I think it was a good choice to sort of use the warp string because it's already in the piece, so we're not bringing in a whole new material. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 more pieces on. Okay, so it's all finished now, and I have a couple thoughts. One, the top is still too tight, you guys. Basically what happened when I did the twining stitch at the top, I didn't cut a new piece of yarn. So typically you want to have 2 loose ends. It's difficult to explain, but it basically just made it really tight, although I might have just fixed it. I just kind of tried to stretch it out a bit. I also have an annoying end that's sticking out. Okay, so let's talk about this. I think all in all, I am happy with this little piece. I think it was just a fun exercise to sort of look at something that I normally wouldn't necessarily think, yeah, I'm gonna get inspiration from this random light fixture photo, and I think it really, you know, worked out, and I think it's a unique little piece. Is there things I would do differently? Yes, like when I was telling you guys I had the tension too tight, so that definitely gave me some issues. There's a lot of stretch here. Where is that coming from? So I don't know. I don't know if I need to maybe like try to set this a little bit with some steam or an iron or something like that. And like I said, I should have stopped and redone the twining at the top just to make it not so tight, because it just sucks in right at the top, and that's like, it's pretty minor, to be honest. It's just can be a bit of a perfectionist sometimes, so it kind of bugs me. And I'm interested. What's the words? I'm actually liking this idea of using the warp strings as fringe. It's not something I tend to do, and usually I would knot them up so they're like in more of little groupings, which I think could look really cool. But all in all, let's look at the photo again. This is the inspiration. This is the finished piece. I think this was a fun exercise, and I definitely want to do more of this. Like I said before, I think the only thing I would do differently really is just like slow down. Sometimes when I'm like coming up with new stuff and I'm excited about it, I like rush through it, and there were little things like thinking about if I was going to use these really chunky materials, then I should have a looser warp so that they fit a little bit better, and just little things like that. But like I said, sometimes it is a good idea to make a sample piece and look at it and say, you know, do I like this? Do I want to make it again? What would I change? You know, here I'm like, working with a chunky material is something you have to kind of consider before putting your warp on, all those things. But all in all, I think this was a cool exercise. I liked taking inspiration from something I normally wouldn't, and I hope you guys will give that a try as well. All right, you guys, so here's my little piece inspired by a photo of a light fixture in an Art Deco building, I guess, according to the search, but you know. If you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell to get notifications when I post new videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.